And we are back. Good morning, Wareham. It is Monday, May 13th, and happy Mother's Day to everyone who celebrated the big day yesterday. We have a great show here for you, the news headlines, the weather report, and today in history. Also in this morning, Barbara Mian joins us to talk about advocacy on behalf of Alzheimer's patients. And also cooking with Jean Lanahan. Let's take a look at what Jean Lanahan has cooked today. Also, get ready to relax. But first, I would like to take this moment to thank Not Your Average Antiques, an antique shop down Cranberry Highway in East Wareham, for donating the props that you see in the morning show. So stay with me because the news, the weather, the traffic report is next. So it was a bit sunny. I think it's still sunny out there. However, wind is a factor today. We're looking at 20 to 30 miles per hour, which could occasionally gust over 40 miles per hour, with showers developing in the afternoon. High at 52 degrees today, rain, and at night, low at 43 degrees. Tomorrow, cloudy with high at 48, winds at 15 to 25 miles per hour, and winds could occasionally gust over 40 miles per hour. At night, temperatures will drop to around 40 degrees, and that will be it. So sleep with your windows open. And now to the news. There were a few news stories over the week, and here are the news headlines. Well, NPR had it that Wareham shouldn't use their water. Actually, it's Onset that should not be using its water today or tomorrow. Onset Water Department has announced that all customers should boil water before using it or use bottled water. People should not drink the water without boiling it first. Bring it all to a boil and let it sit for a minute. Let it cool before using it, or use just bottled water. Boiled or bottled water should be used for drinking, making ice, brushing teeth, washing dishes, and food preparations until further notice. This comes at the moment when the Onset Water Department had a little scare, bacteria occurrence, which remains undetermined. The Onset Fire Department Superintendent Kevin Sampson suggested it could have been caused by a variety of factors, including increased water usage. Bottled water is available to all Onset residents from 8 a.m., I believe, to 4 p.m. Until this issue is resolved. To remedy the problem, the Water Department began temporary clarification and will continue to provide temporary clarification until the problem is resolved. The department has also begun flushing in the areas where the contaminated samples were taken. And to another cutie news that happened this weekend, Dicus presented the annual talent show. Dicus Elementary School had their annual talent show on May 10th, coordinated by parent Malta Milne and a second grade teacher, Macy Doyle. The 2-hour-long show was enjoyed by a full auditorium of relatives and friends of the students and school. And the Wareham, and the school. Sorry, I was supposed to have a little pause there. Now to another news. The Wareham Police Department did something so beautiful this weekend, a memorial to commemorate their own, the men and women in the blue uniform who are serving this community. So we have a little short video to tell you what happened. Fallen but not forgotten. Wareham Police Department honors their own. A sentiment to the 163 police officers killed in the line of duty just last year alone.
Sergeant Noble had the idea of making a memorial to the officers that were killed in the line of duty in 2018, and that included officers who died from 9/11 related illnesses and officers that had died from gunfire, car accidents, drowning, things like that. And we also put 2 flags out front representing the 2 officers from the Wareham Police Department who were killed in the line of duty including Lester Chase, who died in 1932, and Officer Christopher Argentinus, who died in 1999.
So we had two police officers that died in the line of duty, one in 1932, another one in 1999. It's been a long time since we lost one, thank goodness. But is it something that our police officers here in Wareham have to think about?
It absolutely, police officers everywhere do today. It's a dangerous job.
The police department is hoping that the memorial here today is going to raise awareness regarding on-duty fatalities. Reporting from the Wareham Police Department, I am Queen Banda of WCTV. Fantastic reporting there by Queen Banda. Now moving on, the Wareham High School DECA team is getting ready for their second largest fundraiser of the year. And take a look.
So the auction is a fundraiser that we do every year. It's our biggest fundraiser of the year, and it helps students pay for competitions throughout the year. Usually it's a spaghetti dinner, but this year we're changing it up. It's catered by Minkle Boys Catering. We're doing chicken, potatoes, and vegetables.
You should come to the auction because it benefits the students mostly, as any money raised goes directly to the students, as half of it goes to the students and the other half is used to subsidize the actual cost of the auction, along with the cost of competitions and other things. So this helps students who may not be able to go to competition be able to afford their competitions.
So some of the big donations that we got this year, we have lift tickets to Wachusett Mountain. We have several tickets to preseason games of professional teams, and we also have certain photography sessions. So another one of our larger donations, Plymouth Country Club donated a round of golf for 4 people, comes with a golf cart, and it is around $500 value. And another one of our larger donations is a fishing trip that's worth around $750 value.
One of the most popular segments of our auction are the rollies. They're 10 for $1, and as you see, you unwrap them, and on some of them there's a number inside, and this corresponds with an item that is usually on a table in the hallway. And these items usually range from $10 to $25. And this year we're offering a new variety of items. And if you're a business that's looking to donate, no donation is too big or too small.
And that concludes our morning news today. Stay with me. I'll be right back after this short break. Okay, welcome back. And now we begin our featured program. And today's featured program is Cooking with Jean Lanahan. Let's see what Jean Lanahan has cooked for us this morning.
I'm flying high, but I've got a feeling I'm falling for nobody else but you. You caught my eye, and I've got a feeling I'm falling.
Hi everybody, welcome to Cooking with Jean. This is episode 5. I'm Jean Lanahan from Eastwind Lobster and Grill. We're right here on the water in Buzzards Bay for 27 years and counting, our kitchen and fish market. Today we're going to make a pan-seared scallop with a bacon creamy aioli sauce. We're also going to do a pan-seared scallop with lemon zest and butter. Very simple, both techniques. We're going to show you how quick, easy, delicious, simple and decadent these scallops will be. Okay, so the first thing we're going to make is a pan-seared scallop with bacon aioli sauce. We have bacon, 4 slices of just a hardwood smoked bacon that we're going to put into the oven. Our scallops they're from New Bedford, and they're a dry sea scallop. These are actually a very large scallop. This is a pound of scallops, which would be what we suggest to buy for 2 people for dinner. You could get away with a little bit less because scallops are so rich. What we're going to do with these scallops first, before we pan-sear them, is we're going to get them nice and dry. That's a technique for when you're pan-searing anything. You should get your fish nice and dry so that when it goes into a hot pan, it gets a nice crust. So we're going to cook the scallops 2 different ways, one with a lemon zest and butter, and the other, like I said, with the aioli. So I have 2 pans that we're going to work with. Just a pinch of salt. We're making an aioli, which is generally an egg-based and an oil-based with mayonnaise. Today we're kicking it up a little bit. We're going to use some sour cream, mayo, Parmesan cheese, a little bit of our house spice, which you've heard about many times now. It's the Mama Bear spice, garlic, salt, pepper, onion, and parsley. That's our go-to spice for the house. We're going to drizzle in a little bit of olive oil, and we're going to garnish it with some fresh parsley that we just minced up. Again, the main player in this is the bacon. Scallops and bacon, match made in heaven in my opinion, so this is going to be one really delicious sauce. We want to make sure our pans are sprayed with non-stick spray. I'm not really going to add any oil or butter just yet because I don't want it to burn. So we're going to heat our pans. Oops. If you've watched any of our prior shows, you'll know with pan searing what you want to do is you want to get your pan hot to the touch. We don't want to add anything now because it will just stick and it will steam rather than pan sear. So we're just going to let this get almost to the smoking point before we add our scallops. Okay, I'm going to put 8 scallops into each. You hear that nice sizzle? I'm going to turn them and turn them down a minute. Nice and sticky, which is good. Nice and dry. This one is cooking a little bit faster, so I'm going to give them a flip. See how they're not even sticking to the pan. But look at that crust. The only thing we put on these scallops so far is just a little bit of salt. That's it. No butter, no oil. Don't need it, because we're going to season them afterwards. These are ready. See the nice grill marks? You're going to look like a chef in your own kitchen if you have a grill pan.
I used to.
When these are done, we're just going to let them hang out. So we're going to serve these warm or room temperature. They don't even have to be so warm because we're treating these as an appetizer today. These are going to have some lemon zest butter, which is going to be, I would serve that as an entree. Some nice roasted vegetables, or even right on top of a salad. It'd be beautiful. Okay, these are pretty much where we want them. This pan cooks really fast. I'm going to turn it down just a hair. What we're going to add to this now, I'm going to add a sprinkle of Mama Bear, again our house spice. I didn't add this earlier because I don't want the herbs to burn in there. This is some melted butter. I'm going to add just a dollop of that. And for lemon lovers out there, we're going to put in a little bit of lemon zest. This is not a fancy zester, but it works. A little lemon zest on top. That's where all the flavor is in the zest. So you don't need a lot. That, my friends, is done. We're just going to move this over, let that hang out. We're going to tend to our other scallops with the nice lines on them. You generally don't have to turn them again. I'm just doing this for show purposes to show you that they're not sticking. They're well cooked and they're beautifully browned. Okay, our scallops are resting. We just finished cooking them, so about 80% cooked. They're going to continue to cook in their pans while they're resting. We're going to make an aioli sauce. Dare I call it an aioli sauce? It could be a remoulade, but we are using mayo, sour cream, Parmesan cheese, drizzle of olive oil, and some of our house spice. First, we're going to put in about a cup of sour cream. You can use sour cream with mayo, Greek yogurt, one of them or all of them. I love to cook with Greek yogurt. We're not using it today, but I am going to use some sour cream. And a little bit of mayo. So in total, this is about a cup. Now, here's the bacon. We got the bacon nice and crusty. Okay, so we want to just rip up the bacon. It's not burnt, but it's definitely well done. Okay, we cooked it on parchment paper, so it won't shrink in the oven, and also the oil is extracted from it as well. So our salt and pepper is magically in our house spice, as well as a little bit of garlic, onion, parsley. Final ingredient, drizzle of olive oil. Now, if your favorite spice, or if you like basil, basil would go really well with this, especially after we add the grated cheese. Basil and grated cheese are a marriage match in heaven. Right, so let's add the grated cheese. This is about a half a cup of Parmesan cheese. You don't have to add it, but I think it adds a nice little dimension to it. Another level of richness going in there. Fresh parsley. Again, you could use basil. So we didn't add any lemon to this. This I would serve as a main course. It would go great with a rice or some noodles, some grilled vegetables, some steamed carrots, whatever you like. It's pretty simple. Again, there's just a little bit of lemon zest. We'll drizzle this with some butter. Some herbs in there from the Mama Bear. Okay, I'm going to go for one of these first.
I'm flying high, but I've got a feeling I'm falling for nobody else but you.
Now I need a bite of this one. I love lemon. Just enough butter. Just enough salt and pepper. Pretty good. Thank you. Perfect.
Falling for nobody else but you. I'm flying high.
Thank you for joining us today. We made some great scallops, and hopefully you can try them at home. Simple, delicious, easy, and that's key to what we try to do around here. We hope to see you all soon at our shop, where everything is homemade, fresh, local, and delicious. Stay tuned for our next show, which will be featuring fish and some shrimp dishes in parchment paper.
I used to. I used to.
Well, I'm having scallops tonight. I'm not sure about you. And now moving on, after all that cooking, I'm sure it's exhausting. So I am going to, I'm going to get a little spa time. So here is Grace Monique. It's all about that skin. Feeling like you need a spa day? Well, get down to Main Street. Located inside Wareham Center on Main Street is Touch of Grace Skincare. This spa destination offers a wide range of services tailored for both men and women. We'll be meeting Grace Monique, skincare cosmetologist and the owner of Touch of Grace, to learn about some of the services she offers to help you slow down those facial wrinkles and give you a long-lasting youthful skin. So tell us about your business and the services that you provide.
Okay, well, I've been in business, it'll be 3 years in June, and it's been great. I like to provide a lot of different services, so different needs of the customers that come in.
So I am sure that a lot has changed in skincare, also
Right.
hair. We see a lot of trends back and forth. So what's the main focus nowadays regarding skin?
The main focus is youthfulness. People are looking to capture the youthful appearance that they've always had, and they're realizing the sun and the damage that they may have done over the years. So they're trying to maintain what they have moving forward and maybe do some corrections on some of the issues that sun damage may have caused or just overall.
Okay. Now you do not only serve women, also men. You offer
Right.
services for men.
Yes.
What do men seek?
Men seek, a lot of times, the most popular is the back facial. They have dry skin on their back, they're itchy, their wives are tired of asking to scratch their back and so on. So the back facial is very popular with the men. It's a complete facial on the back. So we use the steam, a mask, exfoliating, sometimes microdermabrasion. We get the back clean and smooth and hydrated.
I am here today for microdermabrasion treatment. Microdermabrasion is a minimal invasive procedure used to renew age spots, treat acne, and other skin-related concerns or conditions.
So I'm going to turn this light on and just take a peek. I know we've looked at your skin before. It's terrific.
So this is really the secret to a longer, youthful face?
That's right. This is recommended. It's really up to you if you're trying to achieve something. I have a lot of clients that come in once a month for it. They routinely make a once-a-month appointment for about an hour visit. This is a papaya enzyme that I'm putting on. It's just a skin cleanser. It's all natural. It smells really good, and it lifts off anything that we didn't take off when we wipe the skin.
And I'm sure there's a right way to wash your face.
That's right.
And I'm sure I do it wrong. What is the right way to wash your face?
The right way is lukewarm water, such as we're using now. You don't want to do too hot or too cold. Just right, lukewarm, and not too abrasive either, just kind of white. Then because we're doing a micro, I like to put a little astringent on your face. This is also very good for your skin. It kind of brings your skin to a natural pH, which is what we try to achieve. So it's not too oily, not too dry. And we just kind of wipe this around. It smells a little medicinal, but it feels good. So now the microdermabrasion, that's a small wand that we use. And that wand has diamond chips on the end. And what it is, it's like a pen-like tool, and it has tips that are diamond chips. We put that on and it kind of sloughs off the dead skin cells, almost like an emery board for your skin. And it's not abrasive, it actually feels kind of good. We have autoclave here, so we sterilize all our instruments. Between each use, everything's disposable. It's really confident for me and for people to know that everything's sterile. I think I get that from the dental world. So lots of times I start at your nose, and you're just going to feel a little bit like an emery board with a suction on the end. This cleans out the pores as well. Does that feel okay?
Yes.
Good.
And all this is to rejuvenate your skin.
That's right.
You are tricking the skin to think that it's been attacked.
Exactly. Just like when you have a wound and the blood cells come to that wound and try to heal it. This is what's happening in your face as well. And it's also taking off the dead skin cells, sucking them into this little device so your skin feels just like a baby skin afterwards. Now right after that is when I'd like to put the vitamin C on. I'm going to put a little bit more of a peel on you just to take off any residual skin that's still there.
Oh, it smells so
Doesn't
good.
it? It's just the best stuff. So good for you. It's a very high citric acid and very safe. There are chemicals out there. There are glycolic acid you'll see over the counter. It's probably about 2%, where this is, in a glycolic here, we'd use about 30%. That looks good. So the dead skin cells are off. We've peeled everything as well. So we did a mechanical peel with the microdermabrasion. Then we just did a chemical peel with the vitamin C. And now we're going to do a massage on your skin and use a little bit of steam. This has all kinds of good ingredients that are just going to absorb.
Oh my God,
right
it smells
in.
like coconut.
Yeah, it has it's almond, shea butter. It's really good for you.
It feels like I want to lick it.
I know, doesn't it? Most of the products you can. When they're all natural, they absorb right into the bloodstream. So I like to go the natural route. Put that steam on you a little bit. How's that feel? Okay? So lots of times we'll do this massage for about 15 minutes, 10 minutes. The full facial with the micro is about an hour or so. So it's a really nice treatment, and it's relaxing towards the end. I'm going to cover your eyes with little green tea pads while the light is on, because I'm going to look close to your face. And what I do after I do the micro and the peel in the steam, manually, I just like to go around and make sure if there's any pores that are clogged, I can unclog them by doing an extraction. And after the steam, it's very easy to do it, so it's nothing that you should be concerned about feeling discomfort or anything. After that, when we've done the extractions, I like to put on another, it's an enzyme peel. It's fenugreek. It smells really good. It's really good for your skin. It kind of deposits all sorts of minerals and such on your skin. I'm placing a collagen pad under your eye. And this just helps for any swelling, any darkening under the eye, and it's a nice treatment. We call this the gold treatment, so it lasts about 28 days. This is a fenugreek mask, and it also has an enzyme peel in it as well. So it's like you're getting a triple treatment of peeling. This one's an all-natural. It kind of calms the skin after being with the microdermabrasion and then with the chemical peel. This is a natural peel and a mask, and it's depositing all kinds of vitamins into your skin after it's been pretty much exposed for everything to be able to be incorporated into it.
It's nice and cold.
It is. It feels good after you've been chemically peeled. And the steam helps to let it sit. Now we're going to do one more little treatment.
Oh my God.
And with this is another vitamin C. And I put that on your skin, and then we're going to use what we call a pusher. It's a wand. It's a galvanic current wand that, again, helps to stimulate the circulation, helps to get that collagen to the surface. It's all about that and looking hydrated and healthy. And now we use our wand. It has a little buzzing to it. It feels really good. So it's helping to push that product in as well as stimulate your circulation. There's different types. Some people have what they call a basic facial, which is still a great treatment. It's a massaging and incorporating products. This is one in the office. I call it my AA, anti-aging. And I like this one because it's really for everyone. And sometimes we use a glycolic peel, sometimes a vitamin C peel, but we like to do the microdermabrasion because that's the most important, I think. Without that, the dead skin cells are not coming off, and it's almost like a disservice to just massage the skin without it. It really looks terrific.
Well, I feel terrific.
Good.
Truly, truly, I do.
Good.
I feel so light.
That's a good
I wish
thing.
my whole body felt like this. And as if the appointment wasn't a treat enough, with each visit you walk away with a special gift, specially customized for you. Some facial scrub and a concussion to last you until your next appointment. Grace, you have been here. This is your third year,
Yes.
right? You've been doing this all your life. You're knowledgeable. You offer multiple services. So really, it's just people to come in to check you out.
Right,
Okay.
right.
And whatever their needs are, I'm sure you can meet them.
Yes, thank you. I try to anyway.
Thank you so much.
Oh,
Grace.
you're welcome. Thank you.
Okay. Hello, and thank you for being with us this morning. We're broadcasting live from our WCTV studio in Wareham. This is Good Morning Wareham, your source for local news, weather report, traffic, and more information. And now for a moment in history. Let's take a look at where we were today in history. In 1846, President James Polk got congressional approval to declare war on Mexico. The war was over the distributed land of Texas, which won independence from Mexico in 1836, standing as its own nation for a decade. The U.S. Eventually annexed Texas, which soured relations between the U.S. and Mexico. And also more presidential events. In 1958, President Richard Nixon, while he was still vice president, was attacked in Venezuela. The trip was supposed to be a goodwill trip through Latin America, but as Nixon's car drove through Caracas, an angry crowd began attacking and nearly flipping over his vehicle. This riot showed just how bad relations were getting with Latin America as the Cold War became more and more strenuous. And in 1981, Pope John Paul II was shot and injured in Rome by a terrorist named Mehmet Ali Agca. The Pope managed to survive, and the terrorist was captured immediately and sentenced to life in prison just days later. He was, however, released in 2010 and is still alive until today and is living a free life. The image shown is the saint with his attacker showing him some forgiveness. And now we are celebrating birthdays, and today's birthdays goes to... We wish a happy birthday to legendary American singer-songwriter Stevie Wonder, who was born in 1950. We also wish a happy birthday to former Michael Jordan teammate and North Korean correspondent Dennis Rodman. And happy birthday to everybody else celebrating their big day today. That's all for today in the History segment. To learn cool historical facts, please go online under history.com. Stay with us. We'll be right back. The coffee segment is next. But first, let's take a look at that events calendar. Welcome back. This is Good Morning Wareham. How I wish it was Good Morning America. Anyways, it's Good Morning Wareham. We're broadcasting live from our WCTV studio at 505 Main Street. And this is the coffee segment. With me is Barbara Meehan here to talk about Alzheimer's advocacy. She is the she is the ambassador to Congressman William Keaton. So welcome.
Thank you. I'm happy to be here.
Happy to be here. All right. And before the show started, looking at this, I said to you that this is a lot of information that is needed.
Right.
So we're talking about having you over as many times as you can.
That sounds great.
That sounds great. Let's see how this one goes first,
Yes.
right?
Okay.
All right. So let's talk about you, how you got into this fight, right?
Well, in 2000, oh my God, wait a minute, 2007, my partner started showing signs of something was wrong with her memory, and so I actually started with our primary care physician, which I advise people to do if they have concerns, and fortunately they were wonderful. I called in an afternoon, and our nurse practitioner said, I'll get back to you this afternoon. This was a Monday. She called me back Monday afternoon, said, she has a CAT scan tomorrow morning and you see a neurologist on Thursday. I was like, this is great, because I know so many people who find it takes forever to get where they need to be in terms of a diagnosis. Faye, my partner, on the other hand, thought she had nothing wrong with her memory, that it was my problem, not her problem. And so we started the whole process, and the doctor initially felt it was some microvascular cognitive problem that wasn't awful. And then it became increasingly apparent to me when she went shopping for my birthday in March of 2008, she had asked, what did I want? And I said, I could use a white golf shirt. And she always had her little list with her. Well, I got 3 white golf shirts for my birthday because every time she went into a store, she got me another one because she did not remember getting the first one. And then what I refer to as the big episode, which everyone who's dealing with any of the dementias will probably have. On Faye's birthday in April, she was going to run to Nesrela's to get flowers to plant. And I was like, okay, it's 5 minutes from our house. That was at 2 o'clock in the afternoon. At 1 in the morning, I was driving to Concord to the state police barracks to get her. She had, and we never, to this day, know how it happened. Somehow she ended up on 495 and just drove until she ran out of gas. Probably the worst 11 hours of my life. I have to say, and I'll give a shout out to the Wareham Police Department, who were wonderful, who were so understanding. The minute I said there's some memory issues, right away we had a health and welfare check, and then it was turned into a missing person. The desk sergeant called me periodically to let me know, so far they hadn't heard anything, and he was so sweet. He said, I know it's not going to sound like it, but this is actually good news, because if she'd been in an accident, we would know it. And eventually at 12:30, he called and he said, well, I have good news and bad news. The good news is we found her. The bad news is she's in Concord, and a friend had come down to the house to sit with me, so we drove to Concord, got there at about 3:30, and we're thinking, oh my God, poor Faye, she's going to be so distressed and so upset. We walk in, and she looks at us and gives us this big smile and says, well, you girls had a long drive. And I'm like, what? Wait, what? She never was ever able to explain what happened. And probably one of the hardest
parts of her illness for me was there was a loss of emotional connection. She did not understand why I was so distraught at her being gone for 11 hours. So, okay, call the neurologist, got right in, and that's when he said, officially it was Alzheimer's. And he said, she can't drive alone anymore, which at that point, Faye had just turned 68, and you don't tell someone who has been an independent person that she can no longer drive. But he said she could drive if I was with her, and that I thought she was okay. So that worked up until about Mother's Day, when, this is probably going to sound silly unless you're a pet owner, but every Mother's Day our cats would give us a Mother's Day present. So I would shop for a present for Faye and vice versa. Well, I had done it, but she wanted to go, so we went to Old Company Store, one of our favorite places, and I wanted to give her space to do her thing. So I said, well, I'm going to go back and look at candles for us. So it was very busy, and when I came to get in line, she was up at the beginning of the line, and I waved to her, and she waved to me. And then eventually, I paid for my purchase. I go outside. She had left me at Old Company Store. So now I am totally freaking out because I'm not sure where has she gone. And people with dementia, and especially with Alzheimer's, have what's really kind of tunnel vision. She had one purpose, and that was to take care of Mother's Day for me. So she bought a present. She went to CVS and got a card. She went to Shaw's and bought flowers, and she went home and had kind of forgotten
you were there together.
Exactly. And so my neighbor, I kept calling, and my neighbor said, yeah, she came home. I told her she forgot you, so she's coming back to get you. And I'm thinking, oh, that's really not a good idea. Let's hope she comes and gets me. She did. She was completely unperturbed by the fact that she had forgotten me. And at that point is when I talked to the neurologist, and he said, that's it, she's done. She cannot drive anymore. So I basically had to kind of make up a story, and I told her, you can't drive anymore. If you're in an accident, and God forbid you hurt someone, and they find out the doctor has said you can't drive, we can lose the house. I made that up. She's like, really? I said, yeah. And she was like, oh, okay. But she was still never happy, and that's an issue I know for everyone who deals with dementia. So in 2009, I did my first walk to end Alzheimer's. I was my team, it was just me. And when I went to register, the woman gives me my lanyard with my name, and it says captain and a whistle. And she said, you can whistle, use the whistle to gather your team together. I said, I am my team. And she said, oh, that's wonderful. And so I did 2 years of walks alone, and then in 2014, well, a couple of years, I can't remember what year we started, but my sister and my niece and some friends decided we were going to be a team. And so our team is called Friends of Faye. In September, I will be doing my 11th walk, and I'm co-chair of this year's walk. But gradually, I tried to get more involved, but because I was taking care of Faye alone, and hiring help was so expensive. We had a home health aide 6 hours a week, but that was it. And so we ended up having, well, by 2011, it was becoming more difficult for me to be able to help Faye. This was someone who her entire life got on the scale every single morning. And if her weight went over 135, oh my goodness, she was beside herself. With Alzheimer's, apparently that concern disappeared, and she decided it was time now to eat everything. I could go outside to cook and come in, and she would have eaten the entire bowl of salad that was actually for both of us. She was becoming, we were starting sort of getting into the incontinence issue. But mostly it was because she had put so much weight on, it was hard for me to help her up. So she ended up with a urinary tract infection and ended up in Toby Hospital. And then while there, they determined that she had a small pulmonary embolism. So they kept her extra. And then when they were going to discharge her, they said to me, well, you've got two choices. One, you can take her home and you can give her the warfarin shots, or she could go into, you know, facility with rehab and have them do it. I'm like, yeah, that's what we'd be doing, because I'm not giving her shots. I was a high school guidance counselor. I don't know anything about shots. So she went into what was then Forest View, and they did rehab with her. And interestingly enough, this was a person who thought throughout her illness that it was always 1980, that Jack Kennedy was always the president, which is interesting. Consistently, every time we had gone to see the neurologist, it was always 1980, and Jack was always the president. And eventually, with a process of, you know, elimination, I figured out why. It was 1980. Her dad died on New Year's Eve of 79-80. Jack Kennedy would have been the first presidential election she voted in, and it was the year she met me. And so I think all of those things somehow played a part in staying with her. So she was in for rehab for about a month, and then she came home for a week, and this was shortly before Christmas. And I knew it was going to be impossible for me to take her to Connecticut to my sister's for Christmas, because I just knew my sister and I couldn't really manage. So I talked to the nursing home, and they had told me if she came back within 30 days, there was no need for a hospital intervention. So I called them, and they said, oh yeah, we'll give you a call as soon as we have a bed. So our home health aide was there that day, and they called, and I said, Faye, I said, Forest View thinks it would be good if you came back for some more physical therapy. And Christine, our home health aide, said, how do you feel about that? She said, I think I would like that, which is very unusual. So back we go. Over Christmas, and when I came back, I knew in my head, it's a real dilemma, because you know one thing intellectually, but you know something else emotionally. And I knew I couldn't take care of her at home anymore. It was a safety issue for both of us. My fear was if I fell and got hurt, she no longer knew how to use a telephone. And it was, I tell people when I speak, 3 saddest days of my life: when my dad died, when Faye died, and the day I had to say to them at the nursing home, I can't take care of her anymore at home. And it was devastating to me. Interestingly enough, Faye adjusted really well to the nursing home. They loved her because she was such a good patient, a good resident. She never changed her basic personality. She was very sweet and very appreciative of what everyone did, and so everybody loved her. But now all of a sudden, I have this huge hole in my day. I went every day to see her at the nursing home, but I now had a lot of time on my hands. And that's when I got more involved with the Alzheimer's Association. And gradually, I went to my first Alzheimer's Advocacy Forum in Washington, D.C. in 2014, which was just a totally amazing event. You're looking at 1,200 advocates from all 50 states. And we spent 2 days getting prepared to go to Capitol Hill to visit, to meet with our members of Congress, the senators and the reps. And Bill Keating's official ambassador wasn't there, so it was going to be my duty. And I cannot say enough about what an experience this was. And I will say, and I'm going to give Bill a plug, we couldn't ask for a more supportive representative in the government in terms of Alzheimer's support. He has been so amazing, and just supports everything we ask for.
So we have 5 minutes, and I would like us. Can you tell?
No, I got a long way to go.
I know. 'Cause this is what happens.
We haven't even gotten to the good stuff.
I know. This is what happens when we have great discussions, great topics. Something that you believe in, you're passionate in. You talked about your journey, right? And my curiosity is, while it was happening, how much did you know about Alzheimer's, about dementia, before being submerged into it? Because people always, we talked about this, we always wonder, or people confuse the two, Alzheimer's and dementia.
Initially, I knew nothing, other than having seen a few ads on TV, but I really didn't know anything. What I have learned, which a lot of people don't quite understand, dementia is a symptom of a number of illnesses, including Alzheimer's is the major one, but it also includes Lewy body dementia, frontal lobe dementia, vascular dementia. There is also Parkinson's dementia. Some people with Parkinson's develop dementia. Not everyone does. So I have to explain to people when they say, oh no, it's not Alzheimer's, she has dementia. What appears to be dementia can also be caused by things that are correctable. And so I try to say to people, you need to see your PCP. It can be caused by dehydration. It can be a lack of something in your system that's necessary. It can be a thyroid issue. So it's really important to determine whether it's something you can fix. And very often, I have a very, very dear friend who was initially diagnosed at 50 with Alzheimer's, and then 2 years later, when he had a PET scan, it was determined he has Lewy body dementia. But there's a number of different kinds of, the dementias. And I think what used to be called senility, dementia is not a normal part of aging. Just because you get old doesn't mean you're going to have dementia. I think once upon a time, I think of my grandmother who at 66, 67, they said, oh yeah, she's just senile. Well, now I realize she probably had one of the dementias.
Okay. Wow. So we got 2 minutes.
That's not nearly enough time for me.
Well, it means you're coming back.
Absolutely.
It means you're coming
This
back.
has been wonderful. I've loved doing this.
So we have 2 minutes, and I would like kind of to somehow wrap this up with an open ending, right? Because you're going to come back. What should people look for? They're listening to all this. What should be a trigger to say, you're coming with me?
One of the things is to look and see if people are not able to do things that they normally would do. Whether it's getting lost, whether it's not knowing what we say to people. It's not a question of not being able to find your car keys. It's not knowing what they're for. It's word being able to do word retrieval,
Okay.
where people are like, you know what I mean.
Gotcha. And I need to pay attention to that because sometimes we have people and we say, well, are you suffering from dementia? We take it so loosely.
Yes.
All right. And sometimes can actually mean something.
Yes.
Especially if you're charismatic, you can hide these things.
Oh, yes.
And
Yes.
we'll start up from there, right?
Okay.
Next discussion.
Sounds good.
All right. So I am so sorry, my viewers. I know this was a great topic and we could have used the whole show, but it's actually a good thing because it means we are going to have Barbara back. You know, maybe as soon as Wednesday. You never know. All right, so thank you for joining us this morning. If you missed us, do not panic. The episode will air this evening at 6 p.m. With that, I'll join you Wednesday. Maybe Barbara will be here. And have a wonderful day. Bye.